So it shows now we should learn the scientific sort of finding. And meantime, scientific finding alone not sufficient when terms in the subject of our emotion, how to tackle these. The scientist, I think, still beginning to look that field. Whereas in this country, over 3,000 years. So now it is useful to combine these two things. So, too much fear, too much anger. Message of love, message of compassion, message of forgiveness, tolerance, contentment, self-discipline. Happy human community.
In a world where faith and science are often seen as mutually exclusive, one simple Buddhist monk has spent his life bridging the two. Tenzin Gyatso, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet, throughout his 90 years of life, has been a beacon of compassion, wisdom, and curiosity, inspiring a new generation of scientists, philosophers, and spiritual seekers.
I'm a Buddhist monk. Monkhood is the dearest. In my dream, I never felt I'm Dalai Lama, but I often used to feel I'm a monk. Since now, I think over 30 years, I have serious discussion with scientists. And usually I call Buddhist science a dialogue between Buddhist science and modern science. Me, half Buddhist monk, half scientist.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama often mentions that he is a simple Buddhist monk. He also refers to himself as a scientist. But what does that make him? A Buddhist scientist? His formal Buddhist studies started at a very young age in Tibet, when the plateau was fairly untouched by the modern ways of science and technology. Yet his fascination and curiosity to learn about what was beyond the snow mountains was so natural and innate.
Because part of that has to do with His Holiness's own kind of personality. He's quite curious. I think curiosity, and he has a very inquisitive mind. So, and he tells that in his own, book, The Universe in a Single Atom, that when he was growing up, he had access to some of the mechanical objects that belonged to the 13th Dalai Lama. Particularly, there was a telescope and kind of a globe with a time zone differences and all of this. So I think initially, His Holiness's interest in science really began with his fascination for mechanical things. And then the question arises, what is that worldview that created and made it possible for these mechanical objects to be created, which then of course opens up the whole field of science. So I think, initially it's probably more of a result of this inquisitive mind. Yeah.
And he was so fascinated that he is not contented only looking at the external part of the machine, but he wanted to discover how it is functioning internally. So he used to dismantle his watches, the generator and the cars, and then would reassemble it.
Tibet was illegally occupied by the People's Republic of China in the early 1950s, and His Holiness had to flee Tibet in 1959 to India, the land he often refers to as the Guru.
Welcomed by Nehru, the Dalai Lama began life in exile.
With the occupation, Tibet lost its independence and freedom to freely practice its precious religion, language, and culture. Since then, China has systematically attempted to eradicate the Tibetan way of life and culture, with Tibetan Buddhism at the core of its demolition. On the brighter side, the centuries-old knowledge of inner peace and growth also opened its gate to the Western world for the first time. It was also a time when Buddhism was diminishing in the land of its guru. It was now the turn of the Chela to revive the ancient Nalanda traditions in its birthplace. Tibet, being a reservoir of ancient knowledge, was ready to teach the world. For over 6 decades, the Dalai Lama has been a vocal advocate for the importance of science in understanding the human condition. His Holiness has been particularly fascinated by the study of the mind and the potential for neuroscience to unlock the secrets of human consciousness.
I first met His Holiness the Dalai Lama in 1992, and I've had the honor of seeing him every single year except during COVID, at least once and often more than once. And it has been a very deeply meaningful relationship in my personal and professional life. His Holiness has inspired the work that we're doing. His Holiness has encouraged us to be more forthright in our approach to this work, to emphasize the importance of compassion. And it was really in 1992 that I first made a commitment to His Holiness that I was going to do everything I could as a scientist to put compassion on the scientific map. And I think that today we see the fruits of that. There are now literally thousands of research studies that have focused on compassion, and this has been such an important shift.
This process of teaching science should be brought into the monastic curriculum. The reason being that in monasteries, the monks are taught to explore and find things for themselves. And through embracing the scientific knowledge, you find a separate venue of finding the reality, not just from the Buddhist perspective, but also from the scientific perspective. And there is a lot of advantages by doing that. That's why I use the word urgent also. For example, your naked eye has a limitation, what you see. Now if you use the scientific and technological product like a binocular or telescope, the scope of seeing reality is 1,000 times magnified. So there are so many advantages like that. Similarly, particularly in case of Buddhism, the focus is more on internal development, not so much about physical development. Science focuses more, development is more on physical reality. So because of that, they explored the length and breadth of the physical particles so much that the knowledge they have, we don't have. So we can get those kind of knowledges also.
So I think His Holiness early on came to realize that at a very fundamental level, the driving force behind science and Buddhism are quite similar. Both of these traditions, if you can call it investigative traditions, are motivated by wanting to understand the nature of reality. And in both Buddhism and science, inquiry, critical inquiry, is the primary mode. And furthermore, one very important philosophical principle that is shared by science and Buddhism is the principle of causation, cause and effects. And this is one area where, compared to other religions, Buddhism is unique, because Buddhism is not a theistic religion. So Buddhism does not try to explain the world and the sentient beings in it by invoking a concept of a creator, like other religions. Buddhism tries to understand the nature of reality, including human beings and sentient beings, on the basis of understanding cause and effects. So science is the same. The ultimate explanatory principle in science is causality.
In 1987, the Dalai Lama co-founded the Mind and Life Institute, a non-profit organization dedicated to exploring the intersection of science and spirituality. Through a series of conferences and workshops, the Institute has brought together some of the world's leading scientists, philosophers, and contemplatives to explore the nature of reality, consciousness, and the human experience.
Each of these Mind and Life dialogues are very well curated. There is a coordinating committee who then selects the speakers, and then we even have a kind of 2 months before the actual event, a kind of a rehearsal where we come together so that the presenters are all aware of each other's presentation. Of course, we don't fully rehearse per se, but also then my role was to kind of, offer feedbacks so that they can kind of particularly be mindful about the language. So in '87, because the dialogue was so successful, at the end of the dialogue, when Varela and Adam Engel met with His Holiness, they proposed to His Holiness to see if he would like it if this series of dialogues was made more permanent on a continual basis. And His Holiness was really happy. And so that was the birth of Mind and Life Institute, which was formally registered, I think, in 1990.
At the Mind and Life Institute, they aim to bring science and contemplative wisdom together to better understand the mind and create positive change in the world. At this critical moment in history, it's clear that efforts to address mounting global challenges must take into account our inner lives and how individual well-being contributes to collective flourishing.
대사카나 로라 사이언스 및 다르마디 촉바 당부 주차래 촉바 당부 차에 여름부치 리공 공발라 페네 리공 공발라 파게네 리공 공발게 두진다 두존라 깔로나네 다 남보 산제베다 군데카나 로라 다 체리데 다 네크란족이 딘디게 체리데 팔베다 드리체네 아니 갑티디 여름부치 깔로나와라 때네 아니 대사카나 로라 대본 간데 세라 순가라 사이언스 및 다르마게 코란주 코티체네 근데 기계 저머니에 스위저랜드에 오스트리아에 강가 기계 망보지 도슬레네 로 카시 기계 로니즈 숨스테어에 다디 고주 겁게네 고주 셔레 고주 겁게네 고주 겁게네 고주 지체레 이네 코란주게 디체네 고주 고고다 아니 니동 디체네 바 삽종 초에데 땡마 당보데 세라라야추 디제라 아니 데본다 간데 니가라 무티니 초레.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama has often mentioned the similarity of investigative methods in both the Nalanda tradition of Buddhism and modern scientific research. In line with this vision, the Emory-Tibet Partnership began in 1995 and formally ratified in 1998. The main aim of this partnership is to create a comprehensive science education within the monastic education by introducing modern science into the monastic curriculum.
Partnership itself began with His Holiness's advice and guidance back in 1994 when I first sought His Holiness's advice. With his blessing and the guidance, we pursued the partnership. And in 1995, His Holiness came to Atlanta. At the time, Emory's president had asked the Vice President, Dr. Gary Hawk, to convene a meeting with His Holiness, and in that meeting the partnership was discussed, and His Holiness asked Emory leadership whether they felt it would be meaningful, and they all said that it would be very beneficial. So His Holiness said that in that case we should begin small, and if it proves to be beneficial, it will grow organically. Then in 1998, His Holiness visited Emory again, at the time to deliver the commencement speech, and there was also the occasion where formally Emory-Tibet Partnership, which was basically an academic partnership between Emory University and Tibetan Monastery. So that was inaugurated by His Holiness. And in that opening of the partnership, His Holiness actually gave the mission for the partnership, and that was that a relationship, an academic relationship between a preeminent Tibetan institution and a Western seat of learning is historic. It has not been formed before. And from this partnership, we should aim to complement each other, from each other's strengths, and to enhance the knowledge in the service of humanity.
Through the distinguished Emory-Tibet Science Initiative, Emory faculty have partnered with Tibetan Buddhist monastics to explore the intersections of science and contemplative learning. Today, we honor several monastics, the Tenzin Gyatso scholars, who have completed their academic coursework at Emory and soon will return to India to teach science in their monastic communities.
Tenzin Mutu. Tenzin Wangdu. And Sering Galek.
Because the abbots of the different monasteries, they have their responsibilities. It is not that they are mean or bad, something like that, but they have their own responsibilities. So their focus is just on the religious studies, and some of them, senior monks, they are a little bit apprehensive that introducing science in the monasteries might hamper the monastic religious studies also. So we really had to struggle much, coming out this way, that way, talking to them, encouraging them, things like that. So it was not an easy journey. So now that hurdle has come, and some of the major monasteries incorporated science study as a part of their regular study in the monastery. That's a big achievement. So that is one of the big highlight. Then also the understanding of Buddhist idea according to many of the science teachers was also a big achievement, because it is not only the monks and nuns learning from the scientists, but the scientists are also, science teachers also very interested about the Buddhist monks and nuns and their philosophy and their life and what they study. So this is actually mutually enriching. And the science teachers, many of them clearly said that it's not us learning, it's not you learning, but we are also learning much more. So it's mutually beneficial. And then also one of the important aims of His Holiness introducing science in the monasteries is not only that the monks become conversant in science, but also through this exchange of ideas, how can we recognize science as an important human activity? And His Holiness had always mentioned, as long as it is a human activity, be it science, be it politics, it must at the end of the day benefit people. This is very important because when you generally talk about science or science teachers, they would normally say, we teach science, we try to explore reality. Teaching ethics is not our responsibility. So that's why how the technological products are misused today. So therefore it's mutually enriching.
천리로는 최대 러그리에 사바치기 드디어 돈에 신앙용되고 봐. 다 다자 다 단서서 천리 로존자 되신다 로줄 하심으로 로주정을 친여래. 지산에 다 천리기 이 낭배 떠주리야 추내야 섭了낭배 떠주기 천리고로 파 로치야지. 다 니스 차디잖아요. 기시라도 조시라도.
Your Holiness, thank you for envisioning this project, the Emory-Tibet Science Initiative. It has deeply changed us and the lives of many monks and nuns, and will continue to do so for generations. We have changed the ways we think about teaching, learning, science, Buddhism, and life. So thank you.
His Holiness believes this collaboration will not only help preserve Tibetan culture, but also makes the monks and nuns more modernized. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has personally visited Emory University 4 times and has also been bestowed with their presidential medal. Over the years, Emory has sent hundreds of students to study with His Holiness at the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics. Tibetan scholars and students have also gone to Emory for visiting lectureship study and for cross-cultural learning.
Just getting to experience all of that in this environment that's so different from anywhere else in the world. You're surrounded by like hundreds and thousands of monks who are all debating philosophy and science and psychology, and they want to talk about it and they want to debate it with you and they want to get your perspective.
By teaching English to the monastic community while they're here, and also through debate nights in which the monastic community and our students come together to learn more about each other's cultures and philosophies and societies.
We also need our own teachers in the science faculties. That thing is right now the sustainability program trying to do that. So that is also very important.
Now I also feel a sense of responsibility to go back to the monastery and become a science teacher.
It not only broadened my academic education but also strengthened my appreciation for the connection between science and Buddhist philosophy.
It really helped me to see the world a little bit in a different way, and not only giving us some kind of new lens to my kind of the perception. It also really helped me really helped my personal growth.
Today, the Dalai Lama's legacy continues to inspire scientists, philosophers, and spiritual seekers around the world. As we face the challenges of the 21st century, from climate change to social inequality, the Dalai Lama's message of compassion, empathy, and interconnectedness is more relevant than ever. In his own words, calmer the mental state, better the physical condition, and vice versa. The intersection of faith and science may seem like a paradox, but for the Dalai Lama, it is a natural convergence. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the universe, we would do well to remember the Dalai Lama's wise words. The ultimate source of happiness is not money and power, but warm-heartedness.
His Holiness often says that there's much more similar about people than there are differences between people. And this is something that we really need to pay attention to, especially today.
Until His Holiness came on international scene, the language of compassion was deeply religious. Compassion and love are seen as religious values, teachings from the Christ, teachings from the Buddha, and when they were being taught in the language of religion. His Holiness not only extracted concept and language of compassion out of religion, but in fact he took them also argued that they are independent of morality.
To sum up, his thinking is how to alleviate sufferings of all sentient beings, how to help them through any means. So therefore use science, use technology, use politics, use religion, whatever is there, use it for a productive, positive, beneficial purposes. That's the reason.
His Holiness often says that these projects or the program should be thought of as 100-year projects, the real impact, kind of the decisive impact. And I certainly hope, feel confident that this will be sustained for the long term.